Shabbat Shalom. Parshat Ki Tavo, where we are urged to listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Question. Who's doing the talking here? And who is doing the listening? I'm going to be asking that question again a little while, so stay tuned. והיה אם שמוע תשמע בקול אדוני אלוהיך לשמור לעשות את כל מצוותיו אשר אנוכי מצווך היום. ונתך אדוני אלוהיך עליון על כל גויי הארץ. Now, if you shamoa tishma, if you, and I'm going to use the translation as given in the Jewish Theological Seminary, the JTS translation, if you obey your God Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh to observe faithfully all the divine commandments, which I enjoin you upon Hayom, this day, your God Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh will set you high above all the nations of the earth. V'haya im shamoa tishma. Notice in there that I highlighted it. For what reason? It might be fairly obvious, because the root of the word, as highlighted, is Shema, which we will be declaring our mantra in a short time, Shema Yisrael. Listen, listen. As much as we'd like to talk, really, what we are being instructed to do is listen closely. Shema. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivonu lishmoa kol shafar. Well, I'm not blowing shofar today, because in Shabbat we don't blow shofar. But this is the bracha that we say before we not blow the shofar, but are instructed to fulfill the mitzvah, the commandment of hearing, of listening to the shofar. Right? There is the root again. Shin, mem, ayin. Shema, to listen to the call of the shofar. This is my mother of blessed memory. She was really gorgeous. But I must admit to you, and perhaps for her, that my mother was not hard of hearing. My mother of blessed memory was hard of listening. And sometimes I know we are all that way. I found this great cartoon. One person saying, "Thanks so much for letting me go on. You're such a great listener." Of course, what is the other person thinking about? Bread, milk, cereal, making the laundry list of things they need to pick up from the grocery store. I mean, we do that all the time. Come on, admit it. Rabbi Marcia Prager, who we send out our prayers for healing, I once heard her teach this, that our normal way of a conversation is one of us to be saying, well, me, 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 me. And the other person who's sitting next to you responding with, oh, that was really interesting, because me, 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 me. So we're only too readily preparing to how we're going to respond. We don't really enter into deep, deep listening in the way that we're invited to. In Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. I've come to understand a reason that really works for me of why we cover our eyes. You know, remember when we were children, or probably as adults too, you hear, so we can concentrate. Well, concentrate on what? I think it's because when we close our eyes, all else disappears into the background. And the reality that we live in duality of things other than us, of things other than God, all disappears. And so we can enter into the truth of Adonai Echad, one God of which we all are a part, interconnected. The first line of this week's pasuk that I'm concentrating on, V'haya im shamoa tishma b'kol Adonai Elohecha, if you truly listen to the voice of Yud-Heh Vav-Heh, your God. Maybe that answers the question I asked before. Who is doing the talking and who is doing the listening? Perhaps it's up to us to listen and for God to be doing the talking. How do we do more of that? That is the question for our spiritual practices, is it not? Who is speaking? Who is listening? I'm going to lean on now the Hasidic teaching of the S'fat Emet, Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Leib Alter of Ger. Rabbi Yehuda Aryeh Leib Alter of Ger, the S'fat Emet. You know, the Hasidic masters are oftentimes known by their most famous writing. And the most famous writing of this particular Hasidic Rebbe is the S'fat Emet, the lips that speak the truth. He comments that the Midrash comments, happy is the one whose listenings are to me, hovering always at my doorways, door within door. Let's take a moment just to reflect on that. What is the Midrash saying? It's saying that I think that we're happy when our listening is focused on the wisdom that is waiting to be revealed to us alone, from within and from without. The Zohar teaches, Mimale kol olmim v'sovev kol olmim. God's presence fills and surrounds all creation. So is God's presence not both within and without. So we listen and we listen. He continues this way. Listenings, now he's commenting on why it's in the plural. Happy is the one whose listenings are to me. Listenings means that one should always be prepared to perceive and listen closely to the words of divinity. The voice of that word is in everything, as I pointed out before in preface to Baruch She'amar. Since each was created, every single word was created by God's utterance, and everything was created by God's utterance and has the power of divine speech hidden within it. This is the hidden light that we are told to find. He continues, inwardness goes on deeper and deeper, truly beyond measure. This is the meaning of my doorways. Never think you have come to the truth. Understand you're always standing at the entrance. Never think you have arrived at the truth, for that will possibly bring certainty on your part. And certainty is the death of faith. Certainty is the death of curiosity. He comments now on delet or delatim. The word doorway, delet, is related to dalut, poverty or humility. And it is in giving up ourselves and submitting ourselves, letting go into God. This is the way you find door after door after door opening for you. Perhaps, as Huxley once wrote, these are the doors of perception that never end. Ki Tavo, our Parsha, reminds us to listen, really listen. And to do that, we need to quiet our minds. I know this is resonating for many of you who have a meditation practice. We need to quiet our monkey brain and just listen. Perhaps then, God willing, if you listen, a quiet, still voice will arise, offering guidance intended for you alone. And as the S'fat Emet reminds us, This means that a person has to be ready always to hear that voice, that when a moment of grace occurs, something will open for you. We are opening up in sweet surrender. Yeah, I do have a song for everything. And so on this Shabbat day, Shabbat Ki Tavo, our blessing, may each of us find calmness amidst the chaos and hear a voice reminding us of who we are, a voice to remind us of who we have always been from the beginning when God dreamt us into being. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart's song. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. I will never forget you. I will never forsake you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.